everybody. Sharon Adams here from Adams Law Office. Today I'm going to talk about getting a trademark for a website because a lot of people have websites and the websites may be providing information about certain topic that of course their website is devoted to, and there are ways to get a trademark specifically for a website. So we're going to look at the USPTO ID manual, and that's an important part of any trademark search. So I'm going to bring it up here, and I already put in a search up here in the top for a website providing information, but let's start at the beginning. So, you come to the ID manual. Let's just go back here. You search for it like this, ID. And you can see it comes up automatically on my screen, and there is the address. And then this gets you to the official USPTO trademark ID manual. So the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office has two filing fees. One filing fee is $250 right now. It's going to change, but it's $250 if you use what they call pre-approved language that comes from this ID manual, or you can get your own. You can write your own language, and then you have the USPTO filing fee is $350 in that case. So I always try to get people into the $250 range if possible. So as I said, a lot of times people have websites, and these websites have information about certain things. Maybe they have other goods or services, but often they do have a website providing information about whatever. So here's how you would search, okay? You come to your ID manual here, and this is how you can find whether the language that you're looking for is pre-approved or not by the USPTO. So we're going to type in website providing information search. Okay. They always bring it up by relevance. I like to search by class. I just like to see them in order. So when you search by class, every trademark is by classification, which the USPTO divides things like into paper products, metal products, services, things like that. So here you see a class 000. Okay, as it says here, placeholder for concept, because this is not a specific class. And of course, when you see things that have lines through them, that means these are old. So going down to the next one here, 000. Okay, here we see providing a website featuring educational information in the field of, and then you can state whenever they have brackets here, starting here and going to there, okay, indicate subject matter of information. And then, so for example, if you had a website providing information about yoga, let's just say, you could say, okay, you could use this description, providing a website featuring educational information in the field of yoga or yoga instruction. And then what it says is the subject matter of the website determines the classification. I'm going to get to that in a second, but let me just say right here, if you use this 000 thing, the filing fee is $350 because it's just how they do it with the 000. Okay, I don't know what their actual reason is. Now, let's just say you have providing, if we scroll down here, we can see in class 35, this is business consulting services. If you do have a website, you're providing a website featuring business information in the form of audio and video interviews, transcripts, and other educational materials. If this is what your website does, then you can use this description and you pay the $250 filing fee when you go to file the trademark application. So that's what they mean when they say the class depends on the subject. Because if we scroll down, let's go past, there's several in class 35. 35 has a lot of consulting. So providing a website featuring a registry of musical instrument information. So again, it's a website, it has information, it qualifies for class 35. Continuing to scroll, you can see there's a lot in class 35. It's a broad field. Now, class 36, this is financial information. So this is how they distinguish things. So if you had a website and you were providing financial information, then you could pay the $250 USPTO filing fee. You could use this description, providing information in the field of finance via a website. Let's just see if we can find a yoga. Okay, let's just see if that comes up. No, no record found. So you cannot do a classification when it says no record found. That means that there is no pre-approved language. Therefore, you must go back to your 000, providing a website featuring educational information in the field of, and then you would choose yoga. I just want to go through a few more down here. Class 41 is general educational information in the field of education. So here we see providing an interactive website featuring advice and information in the field of collegiate athletics programs. So that's, college is education. So that's why it's in there. If you go down to class 44, I believe it will be more like health and wellness. Yeah, so again, these are strategies where, I as a trademark attorney can help you with your classification, because classification is one of the most important features of a trademark application. And getting the classification incorrect, if it's incorrect, it can be an error that cannot be corrected later on. Once you put your description of your goods or services in the trademark application, you can only narrow them afterwards. You cannot expand them. And if you've happened to put in the wrong classification, well, then you might have to start again. Sometimes there's no way to fix it. So I really like to help people up front get the classification correct. So here, let's just say you did have yoga. Potentially you could do providing information in the field of yoga health via website. Well, that doesn't read properly. So maybe yoga and wellness, again, no, that doesn't work. Providing a website featuring information on the field of indicate type of health information, mental health would go there. Like if you have a website about mental health. Here if you have a website with nutrition, you'd be in class 44 and you can do providing a website featuring information about nutrition. But again, going back to my example at the beginning, yoga, let's try this. This is how you determine this yoga. If you just put in yoga, what comes up? Again, searching by class, which I find is easier for me. All classifications are by what the product is. So here it's bags. That's class at 18. You can see leather goods. All right, well, general purpose bags. These are sort of broad descriptions. Luggage, can you see it says luggage and carrying bags. So general purpose bags for carrying yoga equipment. That's in class 18. Well, you might think yoga blankets would be in the same, but no, class 24. Textiles and substitute for textiles. This is what I mean about how people can so frequently get the classification wrong, because it's not all that intuitive. You really have to kind of look in the ID manual. Clothing, any type of yoga clothing is in class 25, as is pretty much all clothing is class 25. So, but let's go down to see if there's anything in class 44. No, there's nothing. So, but you can find in class 41, which is your educational general classification, as it says here. What will it say? Education and entertainment, conducting of workshops in the field of, and then you indicate the specific field, e.g. yoga, digital marketing, etc. So you can see, even though yoga and digital marketing are really, they don't seem like they would be in the same class, but it's the educational aspect because it's conducting a workshop, and pretty much all workshops are going to be in class 41. So I just kind of wanted to go through that and explain how classification can be so important to your trademark application. Again, as I've said, it is one of the most common errors I see. People come to me, they get people will file their own trademark application and they'll get an office action asking for clarification of the description of goods or services, because sometimes it's not clear. And then when they try to clarify, all of a sudden they realize, oh, my description was not correct. I should have said X and I said Y, and you cannot expand the definition. That is not allowed. The USPTO will only allow you to remove items or narrow the scope Their reasoning is that they've already done the search by the time, well, as soon as you file, they don't let you. But because you can't change things after you file, but the rationale is that you filed, that's what you've stated, you've sort of staked your claim for those goods and services, you can't later change it because other people might have looked at your pending application and said, oh, they're not in this field, I'm going to go forward. So I don't know the exact reason why, but that they don't allow you to. But anyway, just going back to this, I also want to briefly touch on online retail store. That is another I want to touch on clothing and an online retail store. Clothing, as I showed you before. Clothing, let's just put clothing in. Again, you see, if you type in the word clothing, all kinds of different things come up. Anti-creasing agents for clothing. Yeah, if you've got that, you can file a trademark in class number 1. But for most clothing items, again, not all, some things are classified differently, but generally, you're going to be talking about class 25. Let's get down here to class 25. You see how often clothing is used. Clothing, shirts, especially shirts for, and then you have to specify babies, adults, children. See, no, animal clothing is classified in class 18. Again, as I said, not all clothing is going to be in 25. So this is why it's very important to look in this ID manual before you file the trademark application or to hire me or another trademark attorney to help you with this. But again, so you have your shirts, shoes, trousers, t-shirts, bodysuits, pajamas. The other one that I like to use is tops as clothing. You see, tops as clothing, that's very broad, it covers all the kinds of tops that you have for men and women. So, sometimes t-shirts are for both men and women, and it's broad. And sometimes when you're filing a trademark application, as I said, if you start broad, you can narrow, but if you start narrow, you cannot widen it out. So you can just do generally tops as clothing, or if you want to, you can do tops as clothing for and specify the wear, adults, children, etc. But why is my question? Why would you do that? Just go with tops as clothing, my opinion. But the other thing, but what people often do is what they actually have is an online retail store. There we go. So that's, again, you're going to bring up different things, but going to class 35, which it generally is in, an online retail store services featuring subscription boxes. Okay, that's like, okay, you can have subscriptions for clothing. I've seen subscriptions for wine. I've seen subscriptions for, organic food or food. You can do that. Online retail store services featuring a wide variety of consumer goods of others. You know what that is? That's Amazon.com. Okay, that's exactly what they're doing. They have an online retail store. They feature a wide variety of consumer goods of others. Computerized online retail department store services, online retail store featuring downloadable. Okay, there's a lot in this classification because there's a lot of different online retail stores. Here you have your online retail, online consignment services. You have online wholesale and retail. But what I'm looking for, which I know is in here, is, okay, even, online retail store featuring downloadable virtual clothing. Yes, for, people playing online. Virtual goods, digital goods. I'm just looking here because I know it's in here. I usually have it saved out just in my own thing, but online retail clothing stores, services rendered in virtual environments. Again, there's a lot of virtual works going on here. Artwork, online. Okay, here's online retail store, but you have store order pickup. This is what I mean. You have to go through these in detail, find the one that fits. Yes, here we go. After searching and searching, we find, because there are a lot, but I knew it was in here, this one. Online retail store services featuring indicate the field or type of goods. This is a very useful description, okay? Because say you have clothing Or this is another thing people often do. They're like, they have their business. Let's say they sell honey, for example, as a business. Okay. But as part of their honey selling business, they sell maybe like stickers that have bees on them, or they sell magnets, or maybe they sell mugs. People have their store, and then a lot of times they have their merch that they also sell. Well, if you have an online retail store service, you can have mugs, t-shirts, stickers, magnets, water bottles, anything you want. You can just list a whole bunch of goods there. And that is one of the more cost-effective ways to get a bunch of goods into one description, which again, if you use this one, because it's in the ID manual, the USPTO filing fee is $250 for now. Again, they are going to be raising it apparently next year in 2025. So this is, of course, good for 2024 if the people are listening to this later than that. I'm Sharon Adams, and I am at Adams Law Office. I'm located in Berkeley, California, but I can do trademarks all over the country. If you would like to contact me, here's my email, my phone number. You can contact me, set up an appointment. I can discuss your trademark application with you, and I'm very good at finding out the correct goods and services to hopefully get your trademark to go through with the least problems possible, or at least to give you advice about maybe what would be a good classification for your particular goods and services, because sometimes it is not that clear. Sharon Adams from Adams Law Office, here to assist you in getting your trademarks filed. I'm Sharon Adams. I work exclusively on trademarks. I've done many types of law prior to this, and now I only do trademarks. I bring my full experience of trademarks to help clients with their trademark matters, with clearance searches for analyzing whether a trademark is likely to proceed. I can give an opinion on that about its likelihood of registration. And also, of course, I help people identify the correct goods or services.